Edition News at 10 with Ann Gownley. Sports with Beth Mensinger. Meteorologist Joe Garbacik. And senior news analyst L.A. Tyrone.
A candidate for sheriff in Schuylkill County is in trouble tonight, and it's our top story. Good evening. This is WYLN's late edition for Friday, November 1st, 2013. I'm Ann Gownley. The Republican candidate for Schuylkill County sheriff has found himself on the wrong side of the law. 46-year-old Patrick Reynolds is facing charges that he threatened and assaulted a man who was repossessing Reynolds' mother-in-law's car around 12:30 this afternoon. Now, according to state police in Schuylkill Haven, 35-year-old Bradley Blumenschen, who works for Richard and Associates Incorporated, was repossessing the 2007 Ford Edge and was confronted by Reynolds, who drew a handgun in the driveway. Reynolds is charged with terroristic threats, simple assault, reckless endangering another person, and unsworn falsification to authorities. Now, the victim contacted police immediately and provided a written statement. Reynolds was interviewed and also provided a written statement, which police say was partly untrue, and he changed his story 3 times. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for December 5th at 10 a.m. with Magisterial District Judge Carol Pancake in Tremont. Now, Reynolds is running for Schuylkill County Sheriff against incumbent Democrat Joseph Grudy. Hazleton Mayor Joe Iannuzzi announced his 2014 proposed budget this afternoon, and WYLN was there, and tonight we have the details.
We're going into the 11th month of our budget. We are in the black, which is hasn't been for decades.
Hazleton's general fund is estimated at $8.9 million. With only 2 months left in the year, Iannuzzi is hoping to have a balanced budget if City Council approves a stormwater management fee, adds the parking authority's assets of $100,000, and timbering of $200,000, totaling $800,000. But if Council fails to pass the ordinance,
we have a problem, a big problem. We will be in the red. We know one is not coming. Parking authority, that $100,000 is not coming here. I don't know where that came from, but it isn't going to come because we're not taking the company, the parking authority over. Plus, they never made that kind of money.
Throughout the year, Iannuzzi and Acting City Administrator Steve Hahn say they have tried to keep expenses as close as possible to last year's budget. By doing so, there will be no tax increase for Hazleton residents.
We've saved some money. We've saved some money on lighting, a few $1,000, 15, I think it was, $15,000, and we moved that around. In our 2014 budget, we have in there the parking authority. We are now absorbing the personnel from the parking authority in 3 different departments in our city. And one will be in administration, one will be in the police, and one at this moment we're considering in the garage. So those 3 employees will be absorbed. The income from that operation will be absorbed into our income, and the expenses will be there, but hopefully with our figuring, the way we have it figured, that some of the expenses that they had will be duplications of what we have, and we will eliminate them and hopefully end up in a positive situation with that operation.
No additional police were factored into this year's budget. However, Iannuzzi says he has a plan to have a total of 40 officers on the force, a number Hazleton hasn't seen in years.
We kept it at the staff it is right now. We are recommending that they hire police officers, but we're leaving that up to council. We're recommending that each police officer, with its total benefits, cost, uniforms, everything that they're provided, would be 1/10 of a mil for each officer. If they wanted 3 officers, they would add 3/10 of a mil to the tax, and we could hire 3 officers.
Again, Yanuzzi's proposed budget is expected to be balanced. The city is in the black, and there will be no tax increase for Hazleton residents. But I asked Mayor Joe Yanuzzi, what about future years?
It all depends on the activity in the city. You have companies coming in, we're going to get some EIT tax, we're going to get some property tax, we're going to get active buildings, active companies, they permitted to be coming in. If the city gets as active as I think it's going to be in the next year, come 2015, we should not need an increase in taxes.
Last year, residents saw a 45% tax increase, and if council passes this proposed budget, no tax increase is expected for residents. City Council will meet next Wednesday. No word if they will discuss this 2014 proposed budget. Well, it technically wasn't part of his budget address, but Yanuzzi did talk about the long-discussed stormwater fee. He will ask City Council to set it at $25 annually per EDU. Based on the number of properties inside city limits, that would generate something near $500,000.
We did not recommend this. We had it on millage. Some of the residents got excited and got to council, and council changed that. So in doing that, it was a very difficult ordinance to get in front of them and get done, and this, we feel, shouldn't be as difficult to fee, but we never know when we go to a council meeting, do we, Steve?
Last meeting, City Council voted to establish a stormwater fee, but did not pick the amount. The vote was 3-2 with Jim Perry, Kevin Shatter, and Keith Bass voting for it. Gene Mope and Jack Mundy voting against. The stormwater fee has been a controversial topic. It's being discussed because per DEP order, the city no longer owns sewer transmission lines, meaning it can no longer charge a transmission fee. The stormwater fee would replace it, but critics say the fee cannot be used simply to generate revenue, but it must cover an actual cost. So it can create one, it must prove a cost. The city says it easily has $500,000 of annual maintenance costs. Wilkes-Barre has condemned half a block of South Main Street downtown. It's the first block between the Square and Northampton Street. It includes 61 to 75 South Main Street. The city owns most of those buildings, but two of them house operating businesses. The Rebone Frank Clark Jewelers at 63 Southwest Main, while place at one at the Hollywood is at 67 South Main, while the former just opened up less than a year ago. The latter is over 20 years. Both have been told they have 5 days to get out.
Remove 22 years of business. That's going to put me out of business, quite honestly.
Mayor Tom Layton says the buildings are unsafe. Barricades will be placed around them and demolition bids sought. Place 1 owner Michaeline Coffey says she has contacted an attorney. One of two men accused in murdering a man from Ebervale was sentenced today in Luzerne County Court. 18-year-old Mitchell Detus was sentenced to 25 to 50 years for his part in the death of 20-year-old Aaron Resnick. The murder occurred in August of 2012 during a drug deal gone wrong. Resnick died from his injuries at Lehigh Valley Hospital just 9 days later. 20-year-old Breon Judon, also of Hazleton, was found guilty last month of second-degree murder and is scheduled to be sentenced on December 9th. Machete attacker Juan Bourbon, who was sentenced to spend 16 years in prison for nearly severing the hand of a GAR student, has filed an appeal. He was sentenced by Judge Joseph Sklarowski Jr. for the attack by Bourbon and Dominicans on black youth outside of GAR High School on February 9th. Papers were filed Thursday by Berks County Defense Attorney Eric Winter representing Bourbon. The defense claims the prosecution failed to demonstrate criminal intent. The evidence was insufficient and that Sklarowski's verdict was excessive for failing to appropriately consider the defendant's age, family, lack of prior record, and the circumstances of the defendant's involvement in this offense. Winter filed the motion on Thursday that requests the verdict against Bourbon be overturned or a new sentence hearing be set. Another big drug sweep in Schuylkill County. This time, a total of 13 people were arrested. District Attorney Karen Burns-Noon said the sweep began around 6 o'clock this morning. Detectives from the DA's Drug Task Force were assisted by the County Sheriff's Department and local police departments. The 13 people arrested are now on your screen, all from north and central parts of Schuylkill County. 12 of the 13 were arrested and taken before Magisterial District Judge Anthony Kilker, where bail was set. David Revnick of Ashland, who was charged with delivery of bath salts, is currently locked up in the Montour County Prison. DA Burns-Noon says the investigation into those arrests were thanks to public calling the drug tip line and informing the authorities. If you have any information, you may call the tip line at 1-800-414-1406. All information will be kept confidential. A 19-year-old woman finds herself in trouble with the law after stolen items were found in her home and her garage. 19-year-old Callie Gould was charged with 6 counts of receiving stolen property and 3 of them felonies. According to arrest papers, city police were sent to Gould's home on Muir Avenue around 2:30 Monday morning for a report of a robbery in progress and people being threatened with firearms. When police arrived, they did not find anyone in the home. However, they did find a black gun case on the second floor and a Corvette convertible inside a garage at the rear of the home. Now, according to court papers, officers also learned that Gould allegedly told someone she had stolen Corvette in her garage and needed to get it to a chop shop. When interviewed by police, Gould admitted to possessing those items. Gould was arraigned Monday by Magisterial District Judge Joseph Zola and is locked up, unable to post $75,000 bail. Well, there was an emergency landing at the Avoca Airport this morning. It happened about 20 after 8. It was a U.S. Airlines flight on its way from Philadelphia to Albany, New York. The pilot said the cockpit filled up with smoke over Allentown. Barry Santini is the airport manager.
We brought in some outside help, ambulances and fire trucks. It is a commercial carrier with that many people on board. Better to be safe than sorry.
There were 15 people on board, 12 passengers, 10 adults, and 2 lap children, along with 3 crew members. The airline arranged transportation to Albany for the passengers. There's still no word on the cause of the smoke spell. The plane has been removed from service for inspection. The Ramada Inn in Hazel Township was packed with shoppers, all who attended to support a worthy cause. Our Julie Stefanovich has more.
Women Hawaiian Toy and Blanket Drive is a special charity event that was held this evening at the Ramada Inn in Hazel Township. Its main focus is to raise funds so that all children and their families at the Janet Weiss Children's Hospital have a very special Christmas. Jerry Berger spearheaded this special evening of shopping and socializing.
The event is called Women Who Whine, and a group of us got together and we said we would like to do something to give back to the community. So we remembered that there was a wonderful event that happened last year, and it was the toy drive for the Janet Weiss Children's Hospital through Adriana's Wish. And Adriana's Wish is a little girl named Adriana Bartol. She wanted to do this for other children because she'd always been sick. And the first 2 years, it was very important to her to make sure that the children in the hospital had toys at Christmas time. So we thought it was such a good event. We lost Adriana in February, but we wanted to make sure that her dream was fulfilled every year. So we're hoping to make this an annual event, and we're very happy that everybody came out to give us the support of the community.
Angela Bartle was also in attendance. Angela lost her 6-year-old daughter, Adriana, to neuroblastoma pediatric cancer in February. Through Adriana's selflessness, she wanted all of the children at Janet Weiss to have a plentiful holiday. Her memory lives on through the 3rd annual Toy and Blanket Drive.
My daughter was Adriana, and we have a web page on Facebook called Adriana's Wish, and this is our 3rd annual holiday toy drive for the Janet Weiss Children's Hospital. 3 years ago, I asked Adriana what she wanted for Christmas, and she said, all I want is all my friends at the hospital to have Christmas presents, Mommy. So for the last 3 years, we have kept this going. Last year, we had 3/4 of an 18-foot trailer filled with toys, and we're hoping that this year will be better. We have toys throughout the boxes throughout the community. Bonanza has a box. The Laurels has a box. There's soon to be one at Washco's. There's one at Penn State Hazleton. People can drop off toys all the way until December 8th, or they could call me if they're from the local area at 926-1255, and I will come and pick things up from them. just so that we can make sure all the kids have a good Christmas.
Toys and blankets will be collected through December 8th. For those who couldn't attend this evening's social, you can log on to Facebook, AudreyAnna'sWish.com to find out about collection locations. In Hazel Township, for WYLN's Late Edition, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
Students at Penn State Hazleton are continuing to work towards raising as much money as they can for Thon. Thon is a 46-hour dance marathon held at the Bryce Jordan Center in State College each February. Since 1977, Thon has raised more than $101 million, all which goes to the Four Diamonds Fund at Penn State Hershey Children's Hospital. Students at Penn State Hazleton are holding a Coach Bingo this Sunday to help raise money.
It's been profitable because, a lot of people like to buy the Coach purses, especially, if they can get like a Coach purse for $25 at a bingo, that's still pretty good because they're still getting a good quality purse. Plus, it's a good fundraiser for Thon because we generate a lot of money to go towards the Four Diamonds Fund.
There are 25 active Thon members at PSU Hazleton, and leading up to February, those students hold several fundraising events.
This is about maybe like the third public one we've had. We had a golf tournament a couple weeks ago, and we also had a 5K a couple weeks ago that was open to the public. But we also do a lot of stuff on campus for the students. Like we had a volleyball, we're going to have a volleyball tournament. We had a dodgeball tournament. We're going to do a lot of other things that the students would enjoy.
The Coach Bingo will run this Sunday from 1 until 4 o'clock in the gym at Penn State Hazleton. Tickets are just $25 at the door, and all money raised will go directly to the Thon Fund. Police have identified the gunman in the shooting at Los Angeles International Airport. He was 23-year-old Paul Ciania of Pennsville, New Jersey. He was carrying a handwritten note that read he wanted to kill TSA and pigs. His father had contacted authorities in L.A. earlier this month to express concerns about his behavior. One person is dead, a TSA agent. 6 others were injured. 3 of them are TSA agents. Authorities say Ciania pulled a rifle out of his duffel bag and blasted his way past screeners. He was taken alive and is in police custody. The shooting shut down flights in and out of LAX for several hours, disrupting flight patterns nationwide. And that is a look at tonight's top stories. Time now to check in with our chief meteorologist, Joe Garbacic, in the Bedrock Gardens Weather Center with the latest. Joe?
Thank you very much, Ann. Definitely very nice here in the backyard this time of year. Couldn't get much better weather, especially temperature-wise, as compared to what we saw yesterday, the wind and, of course, the rain that was around our area. But tonight, it's pretty nice. We do have some changes to talk about in our forecast. Take a look at some of those changes as you head further out toward the west where those temperatures drop. Eventually, we'll start to see some colder temperatures across our region. I'll let you know when, coming up next.
Gould SureSave is proud to announce our expanded dairy department, which means a 10% increase in our dairy variety. Like our other departments, dairy is now computer controlled for temperature and food safety. With this, our 4th secondary cooling system, we now have well over 90% environmentally friendly refrigeration. New dairy door cases with LED lighting help create energy efficiency, selection, freshness, safety.
Stop by Gould SureSave and get everything you need for your family's holiday table. Heritage SureSave, your neighborhood full-service supermarket. Come see for yourself. They have the freshest selection of meats, cheese, and produce. Baked goods made fresh on premises. They have an in-store butcher who is happy to accommodate your special orders. Be sure to stop in and check out their unadvertised specials. You'll find them throughout the store. See their flyer for weekly specials. Heritage SureSave, your neighborhood full-service supermarket. This week at Heritage, spend $25 in a single visit and get a large selection of frozen items for just 99 cents.
Hi, sir. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Can I just get your name for our mailing list?
Yeah, sure. Smitty Jones.
Is that the same Smitty Jones that lives at 1 Phillip Street?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't complete this transaction.
What do you mean? I'm just buying a candy bar.
Unfortunately, your credit score is too low.
What do you mean? I'm paying cash.
Sir, I'm going to need you to settle down.
Listen, I'm not freaking out.
Security!
Come on.
Clean up. Check out 15. Clean up.
Even if your credit is this bad, we can still help. Penn Financial Group. We stop foreclosures, stop sheriff sales, reduce or eliminate your debt, and improve your credit rating, guaranteed. Call us today for a free consultation. Penn Financial Group. Get credit happy.
Stop into the new Plaza Diner and Family Restaurant located next to Heritage Market at 601 South Poplar Street in Hazleton. Quality food at affordable prices, Greek and American specialties, cakes and more. Open 5:30 a.m. till 10 p.m. Bring the whole family for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. There's something for everyone at the new Plaza Diner and Family Restaurant. Beautifully renovated, comfortable atmosphere, friendly service, and delicious, generous portions. Make it your new place for good food and family gatherings. Stop in today. Check out their specials.
Your vote counts, and we know it. WYLN will have the most complete election coverage in the area. Reporters in the field, continuous updates of the numbers from all the races that affect you, plus interviews with those who won and those who didn't, all anchored by the most experienced political commentators in the business. 2013 election night coverage, Tuesday, November 5th, starting at 8 p.m. on your local network, WYLN TV 35.
Well, we continue to see dry conditions across our viewing area from Wilkes-Barre through Scranton down through Shenandoah out through Williamsport and Lewisburg. No precipitation to deal with. That, of course, is the good news. And for our viewing area, I think we're going to stay dry right through the rest of the overnight hours. Temperature-wise right now, we continue to fall a little bit as the hours go by. We're down to 51 degrees outside our TV station in Hazleton, our live Lehigh tire conditions. Pressure coming in at 29.67 inches of mercury. Since the midnight hour, we picked up just about 0.6 of an inch of precipitation. And notice those winds, not too much of a factor. They really died down compared to where they were last night and where they were at earlier today. A Robert Stevens Face and Body Almanac page for the day, 65 and 50. That's above the average of 55 and 37, 81 and 22. Those records, they still stand. 7:36, 5:59, sunrise and sunset for tomorrow. Low temperatures actually not too bad, 40s and 50s, even 60s down by Philadelphia. That's pretty nice for this time of year. And in terms of high temperatures, getting up into the 60s. In fact, some locations did manage to make it up into the lower 70s. That's pretty nice for this time of year, especially now that we are in the beginning part of November. 51 now in New Angola, 54 in Berwick, 52 in Bloomsburg, 54 in Monomoy City, and 50 degrees in Danville. Here's a look at our satellite and radar. Really nothing to show you at this point in time. You see a system off of the coast. That's about it. We continue to be in the clear to mostly clear skies throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, increasing clouds as you head toward the northwest. A couple of showers out in the Ohio Valley region, and you may have to deal with a few of them. I'm not expecting a whole lot for tomorrow, but I may have to deal with them across our region by later in the afternoon or in the evening. I may have to deal with a shower or two across our area, not expecting a whole lot. Here's what it's looking like on SkyCast precipitation and clouds as we head into tomorrow. I see a little bit of some green showing up. Again, not expecting a whole lot, but we may have to deal with a shower or two across our region. And then we're going to start to deal with some chillier temperatures. Tonight, though, we only drop down into the 40s. Tomorrow, we're up into the 50s. Some locations will be near 60 degrees, dropping down into the 30s heading into tomorrow night. And then the noontime hour for Sunday, temperatures for the most part in the 40s. So a little bit of some unsettled weather for tomorrow. Not a whole heck of a lot going on, though. Much of the time should be rain-free. But it's possible some locations may get through the day without seeing any type of precipitation. Tonight, though, for the most part, again, 40s will do it for the overnight lows. Tomorrow, 50s. Some locations will be near 60 degrees. Extended forecast brought to you by the Wire Guys at Division of Arc Electric. Here's what we can expect over the next couple of days. About 53 tomorrow, maybe a shower or two around. Not going to be a washout, and some locations will get through the day maybe without seeing any rain. Colder for Sunday, chilly for Monday and Tuesday, and then middle part of next week, temperatures back up into the 50s to near 60 degrees. Our evening Pennsylvania lottery numbers, a daily 037 to Big 4, 9515. Quinto numbers looking like this: 18836 and a cash 5, 11, 16, 21, 25, and 40. We won't change the channel. We'll continue to have more Late Edition after these commercial messages.
Live your diamond quality moments. Choose Sophie Jewelers, specializing in custom diamond engagement rings, located in the Coal Creek Plaza, Route 61, St. Clair.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, some legal advice with attorney Bernardo Carbajal. And he's going to talk about workman's comp, what happens if you're injured, and the things to do and not to do. Let's Talk Chiropractic only on WYLN TV 35.
It's hard to believe it's already week 10 of high school football, which means, of course, the last week of the regular season. 10 teams in our area have the playoffs in their sights, but they, of course, have to get past tonight. The undefeated Berwick Bulldogs first coming into Hazelton after they've already clinched a district playoff berth. It would be a tough game in the Wyoming Valley Conference for the Hazelton area Cougars. It was our game of the week, and we brought it to you live from Harmon Guy Stadium in the city's downtown, and WYLN's Marty Burns has the highlights.
Berwick heads to the playoffs 10-0. Gonna get a look at the post-game recap brought to you by Service Electric Wilkes-Barre, starting with the opening drive, 11 plays, 77 yards. Jordan Stout capped it off with the 2-yard run. That made it 6-0, and then a tough to handle the snap for Dallas Arner, and the Cougars will recover, keeping the score 6-0. Heading to second quarter action in the final 3 minutes of the opening half, Dane Kowalski picked up the punt, and he would go 55 yards on this punt return. That would take the Bulldogs all the way down to the Cougar 21-yard line, and that would set up Olivia Seeley from 31 yards out, and that made it 9-0 Bulldogs. After a fumble recovery with 22 seconds left, a double pass, Arner found Kowalski, and that would get the Bulldogs down inside the 20. And in the final seconds of the half, Curry over the middle to Trenholm, and he'd get down to the 3. The Bulldogs were able to down it with 1 second left. Seeley tried the field goal, and it would just go off the goalpost, no good, and at the half, it was 9-0 Bulldog. First play of the fourth quarter, Stout for the fourth time on the night. Point after was good, making it 36-0 Bulldogs. And then we saw some of the youth. Daquan Hellenthal from 18 yards out capped the 62-yard drive, making it 43-0 Bulldogs. And on a drive that got Zach Sukoski his 1,000th yard, this run will get the Cougars inside the 5 to the 4. And Nick George would end the 65-yard scoring drive with the touchdown, making it 43-7.
George Curry's Bulldogs are pretty darn good, and they'll be moving on to the playoffs undefeated. We do have a few other games from the Wyoming Valley Conference, and here are the finals. First up, GAR wins over Myers 21-20. Wyoming area fell to Pittston 28-14, and Carbondale over Tunkhannock. A high score tonight between Dallas and Lake Lehman. Lehman pulls it off by a touchdown. Nanticoke wins by a field goal over Hanover, and Northwest shuts out Montrose 46-0. Tomorrow night, Crestwood heading up to Wilkes-Barre and taking on Coughlin. In the Anthracite Football League, it's always a big game when the next two teams meet. The Shenandoah Valley Blue Devils hosted their rival Golden Bears of Monoy area tonight. The Blue Devils not having their best season with a record of 1-8, but things can change with a big win tonight. Monoy area with a 4-3 record in the league. Monoy leads 20-12 in the third. Lenny Dolsky attacks the Shenandoah offense, and it's a big sack there in the fourth. A fumble is recovered by Michael Nadiski of Shenandoah Valley. But the big man on the Bears line, Tyler Cavanis, he will come up big here. He recovers the fumble that is in the end zone, and the Golden Bears will go on to win it 29-12, and they will take home the backyard rivalry trophy, the D'Amato Simitovich Trophy. Another big rivalry tonight in the AFL, the Marion Colts headed just a few miles to Tamaqua to take on the Blue Raiders. Both teams sit in the conference with four wins and 3 losses. The Colts have already clinched a playoff berth in the Eastern Conference. Tamaqua is looking to do the same. First quarter, Marion's first possession. KJ Snur here in at quarterback. He will take it to the house, a 37-yard keeper. On 3rd and 5 nonetheless, extra point good. Colts will lead 7-0. Tamaqua will try to get the momentum going in their direction. Here is their quarterback, Nate Edmonds. He will keep it, and he'll get a well-deserved first down. Falling a little backwards there. Next play, Edmonds bombs it into the end zone, but it's an incomplete pass, but there is a pass interference. That's called on the Colts. Tamaqua will get it on the 25-yard line. First quarter will run out to the second. We go a few seconds in. Edmonds to Tyler Hope, who takes it in 14 yards for the score, but that will be negated as the Raiders are called for a holding. Moves back to the 24. 4th down, and the Raiders go for it. Edmonds, he will get knocked down by a whole slew of Colts, and the Colts will take over on downs. Then the Raiders punting the ball away a few possessions later. It is blocked by Marion, and it'll set Marion up in the red zone. 4th and goal, 11 seconds left in the half. Coach Stan Dukoski, he will send out his field goal crew at the 20-yard line. Bailey Becker will get the kick. It will go up. Wait for it. It'll go up. And it is good. Marion goes into the half up 10-0, but the Raiders will roar back. They win it at home, 24-10. Checking out some other final scores from the teams in the AFL tonight. Lehighton wins the close one over Jim Thorpe. Minersville falls to Panther Valley 36-8, and North Schuylkill wins over Elko 40-21. Tomorrow, Schuylkill Haven, they will host the Eagles of Blue Mountain. We'll have much more in the second half of sports coming up in a bit, but first, Anne's back with your top stories.
Edgewood in the Pines, located in Drums, provides the perfect scenery in any season to complement your wedding or special event. From the spectacular colors of fall, a cozy winter setting, or the plush greens of summer, Edgewood will provide a breathtaking setting for your exceptional affair. Edgewood is perfect for weddings, birthday celebrations, showers, baptism, or any special event. From small intimate gatherings to breathtaking formal affairs, your event is certain to be an amazing experience to remember for years to come. Celebrate at Edgewood in the Pines.
The Greater Hazleton Chamber of Commerce presents Tastes of Greater Hazleton, Sunday, October 20th at the Hazleton Health and Wellness Center from noon until 3. Sample signature dishes and products from a variety of area restaurants and businesses. There will be cooking demonstrations, an apron decorating contest, and a chance to win great prizes. Tickets are $15 and are available at the Hazleton Chamber office, the Standard Speaker, and other participating businesses.
Award-winning children's recording artist Laurie Berkner will bring her music to Hazleton when the Laurie Berkner Band performs at the Wiltsey Center at the Historic Castle on Saturday, November 23rd at 2 p.m. Doors open at 12:30. Tickets may be purchased through wiltseycenter.org or at Ticketmaster retail outlets including select Boscov's and Walmart locations. The Laurie Berkner Band, November 23rd at the Wiltsey Center at the Historic Castle.
Join us this week on Women Today. It is the special Halloween version of Women Today. We'll be joined by Katie Christopher of Ghost Detectives. Later in the show, Kathy Cucci is going to give you some great treat ideas just in time for Halloween. Butler Township Police Chief Dave Pavelko is going to give us some safety tips for your trick-or-treaters. Later, we'll find out who won that great bling from the gem shop. Someone's going on a ghost hunt. We'll tell you who our business women of the week are. Join us.
The Republican candidate for Schuylkill County Sheriff has found himself on the wrong side of the law. 46-year-old Patrick Reynolds is facing charges that he threatened and assaulted a man who was repossessing Reynolds' mother-in-law's car around 12:30 this afternoon. Now, according to state police in Schuylkill Haven, 35-year-old Bradley Blumskin, who works for Richard and Associates Incorporated, was repossessing the 2007 Ford Edge and was confronted by Reynolds, who drew a handgun in the driveway. Now, Reynolds is charged with terroristic threats, simple assault, reckless endangering another person, and unsworn falsification to authorities. The victim contacted police immediately and provided a written statement. Reynolds was interviewed and also provided a written statement, which police say was partly untrue, and he changed his story 3 times. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for December 5th at 10 a.m. with Magisterial District Judge Carol Pancake in Tremont. Reynolds is running for Schuylkill County Sheriff against incumbent Democrat Joseph Grudy. Wilkes-Barre has condemned half a block of South Main Street in downtown. It is the first block between the Square and Northampton Street. It includes 61 to 75 South Main Street. The city owns most of those buildings, but 2 of them house operating businesses. The reborn Frank Clark Jewelers is at 63 Southwest Main, while Place 1 is at the Hollywood at 67 South Main. While the former just opened up less than a year ago, the latter is there over 20 years. Both have been there 5 days to get out.
I have 5 days to remove 22 years of business. That's going to put me out of business, quite honestly.
Mayor Tom Layton says the buildings are unsafe. Barricades will be placed around them and demolition bids sought. Place 1 owner Michaeline says that she has contacted an attorney. You'll be turning your clock back on November 3rd, and the change of time can affect your body. Shelby Lynn has the details.
It's time to fall back an hour. Sleep experts say, although it's easier for you to gain an hour than to lose it, it doesn't mean your inner body clock or circadian rhythms aren't affected. But there are ways you can reset your sleep patterns and prepare for the change before daylight saving time ends. That way your sleep won't be interrupted. Doctors recommend you modify your schedule early. Do this about a week before the change. Set your clocks an hour behind and try to ease into the new sleep pattern. Keep hydrated. Drinking lots of water helps the body adjust. After the time change, stay active during the day and do something relaxing a few hours before what would normally be your bedtime. And if you are taking medication, begin to take it a little earlier, especially if the medicine affects your sleeping habits. Doing this a few days before the change actually helps regulate melatonin, a hormone in your body that helps your inner body clock adjust, leaving us with a good night's sleep. I'm Shelby Lynn.
Welcome back. I am now joined by L.A. Tyrone. L.A.
It's been a while since I've been here.
It has been.
We got a ton of things we could talk about here tonight.
Let's first talk about the budget.
Okay.
Something in Hazleton. I know we talked about it for a while.
Yeah, if you're in Wilkes-Barre and you see the city's budget total, you gave the figure, it was at $8.9 million. You think, boy, how can a city that big operate that small? The Wilkes-Barre budget includes a lot of things that are not part of the Hazleton municipal budget. I mean, if you add the garbage in alone, you're up at like almost $12 million.
Right.
So I listened to the bites that you had from Mayor Joe Iannuzzi. And if City Council adopts a $25 stormwater fee, and if they get $200,000 for timbering, and if they get additional EITs, if everything falls into place, this is a nice, painless year. But there's about 4 or 5 big ifs in there. The biggest one, of course, is whether City Council is going to adopt that stormwater fee. That has been extremely controversial, as you know, because you had a cover on it. You were there through all
That's
those
what I
battles.
asked him about that. I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle. It's going to be difficult, and I know Gary and I have talked about this on Topic A today. The stormwater fee, you never know which way City Council is going to go on a lot of these issues.
Well, the big swing vote on that City Council, as it is currently comprised, is Keith Bass. Now, that could change as of Tuesday, depending on what happens in the election Tuesday. But on most major things, Mope and Mundy are no, and Perry and Shatter are yes. And then Bass, it kind of depends. Now, he did vote with Shatter and Perry to create the fee, but of course there was no fee number. No number put in. A number of the controversies are, number one, that any kind of dedicated fee is not supposed to be generated simply for revenue. And Mope and Mundy have said, if you've got $500,000 worth of cost, let's see it. Let's see an engineer's report. Let's see bid specs. Let's see something. And what you got was the thing that both of us were there for, Dominic Iannuzzi's proposal, that presentation, that PowerPoint where he says there were $500,000 worth of cost there. But even he admitted that some of the things that were in there were wrong. Like he was showing some of those grates that aren't covered at all.
Right.
So $25 is a lot less than we're talking about in the beginning. So how big of a pushback he's going to get, I don't know. It remains to be seen. Most of us could handle $25. It's when early on they were talking, well, maybe it's going to be $100, maybe it's going to be $125. Then it's like, oh, wait a minute, another $25 I figure most people could handle. That still doesn't get to the heart of the question whether or not it's justified. I think you're still going to have an argument over that, though.
Right. Well, you remember last year's budget. It took until, what, January?
Well,
they were able to pass a proposed one and had that window to change it, and they waited.
Well, that's normal, though. The way municipal law works in Pennsylvania, you got to pass a tentative budget by the end of November. And then you've got to pass a formal budget by the end of December. And if there's a new council, it has 45 days to make any major changes in it. So that could be the case this year.
All right, move on. City Council still, but let's move on to election.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with City Council. They've got this budget going on as well, but there's a lot of other races I know you want to talk about.
Well, no, this time around the ballot is kind of thin. Turnout, I think you're probably looking at Hazleton being around 30% because of City Council, and a lot of the rest of the area being well below that. This interesting case with Reynolds now in the sheriff's office. That makes that interesting.
Right.
You got a good Schuylkill County DA's race between Karen Noon, the incumbent, and Christine Holman. Hazleton City Council, Iannuzzi has a lot riding on this. Depending on how the election turns out on Tuesday, he's either going to have 2 years at the end of his term, and he's already said he's not running for another one, where he can get some of his major initiatives done, or he's going to have 2 years of gridlock that is going to mirror the gridlock that you see in Washington. So it kind of depends. Kind of depends. We don't know yet until that happens. Two other quick things. That condemnation on South Main Street today, when that happened this afternoon, I was absolutely shocked.
I could only imagine.
I can't believe the city would do that. That Frank Clark, the Frank Clark Jewelers just opened earlier this year. Big fanfare. We did a big story on it. Every TV story did a big story. And Place One at the Hollywood, she's been there for over 20 years, and the city owns that building at the end of the block. When McGroarty was mayor, if you drive on Northampton Street, it's faded now, but there's a mural there. That became the place to put the mural. And a lot of us thought it was ugly right from the beginning. I was one of them. But I was really shocked by that. And the other development that shocked me this week.
That you wanted to talk. I know you wanted to. I was just going to bring it up.
King's College by La Ramada. I could not believe when that happened. Now, this is a school that has had a problem with someone, I guess it was in the controller's office, was charged with theft. It's a school that has said it's had all kinds of financial problems, and it's going to come up with $2.7 million to buy the Ramada. It's hoping to get $7 million in state funds, and I am really surprised at the reaction from the mayor's office that this is a positive thing for the city. When I lived 3 blocks from where the Ramada is now, we had 3 hotels in downtown Wilkes-Barre. Genetti's, the Sterling was still open, and it wasn't the Ramada there. And what was it, the Treader, where I forgot, but there was another hotel where that is. You now have 1. I don't see that.
That was
as being
the
a positive
first
for the
thing
city.
that when you walked into the newsroom, that was the
I
first
couldn't
thing he
believe
said
that had happened
about the hotels that have used to be there. I thought that, building up
Those
that
are just the
public
big
square.
ones. Then there was a bunch of them. Well, some of them were flop houses up on 315 and on Kidder Street. There was one used to be able to rent rooms by the hour. Okay. I knew a guy who worked there, as a matter of fact.
That's why we have LA
But there were
Toronto.
3 good, and now you've got one. I have a hard time seeing that as being a positive for the city. It's a positive that the property isn't going to be vacant. I grant you that. But it's also tax exempt.
What about the money issue from Kings?
Well, yeah, the money issue from Kings, and somehow they got $2.7 million to buy this building. And from the city, you just lost a chunk of property taxes. Now, I don't know exactly what the Ramada's paying. I'm sure they've appealed the value of it downward over the years. That's usually what happens. But if it's $25,000 or $30,000, it's still a significant chunk of change. It isn't going to be there anymore. This has been a very surprising and challenging week.
I think we're going to bring LA Toronto back on Monday to talk more, because I know there's a couple more things that we need to talk about, especially Election Tuesday.
Yes,
so we will talk.
sure.
We will talk Monday with LA election and what people can expect. But right now, we are going to go back outside to Chief Meteorologist Joe Garbacik in the Bedrock Gardens weather set. Joe, what's happening outside?
Well, not a whole heck of a lot right now. It's fairly quiet across our region. The winds are relatively light, and it's fairly mild as we approach the 11 o'clock hour. Can't get a better November night than what we have right now. Got some changes to talk about in our forecast. And speaking of Novembers, well, here's a lot of no's with November. No butterflies, bees, fruits, leaves, flowers, and so forth. Yeah, it's unfortunate that time of year is over. But now I guess we have to prepare for some colder weather and even some snow. Now, will there be any snow in the forecast, and how cold will a 7-day be? I'll let you know coming up in a few.
With over 35 years as a community leader and as a teacher of mathematics, Eugene Kelleher knows what it will take to lower the county debt.
We can't raise taxes to lower the debt and put our seniors in jeopardy of losing their homes, and borrowing funds will only make matters worse. If re-elected, I will work with other council members to secure alternate revenue streams to lower the county debt. But I need your vote.
Vote Eugene Kelleher for Luzerne County Council.
All Care Home Care, the health care that you need in the comfort and privacy of your own home.
At All Care Home Care, our caring and compassionate staff of skilled nurses, occupational speech, physical therapists, dietitian, social worker, and home health aides will give you the professional care you need. Call 459-3002.
With All Care Home Care, you will feel so much better and be able to do so much more.
Remember, it's still your choice. For your care, call us and we'll be there.
Hi everybody, this is Richie Molinaro, Marketing Director for Fairway Chevrolet in Hazleton. Since Berwick Chevrolet is no longer an authorized Chevrolet dealer, I'd like to personally invite you to join our Fairway family. We'll provide you with the utmost courtesy from Chevrolet sales, service, and parts to our state-of-the-art body shop and auto spot. We have over 300 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock. We're the #1 commercial truck and business elite dealer in Pennsylvania, and we would be honored to be your Chevrolet dealer.
We build tires, but not tires like anybody else. We build Cooper tires for people, not just cars. People who are chauffeurs and shuttle pilots, heavy haulers and heavy hitters. More than what your Cooper tires can do, it's about what you can do with your Cooper tires. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go.
Your vote counts, and we know it. WYLN will have the most complete election coverage in the area. Reporters in the field, continuous updates of the numbers from all the races that affect you, plus interviews with those who won and those who didn't, all anchored by the most experienced political commentators in the business. 2013 election night coverage, Tuesday, November 5th, starting at 8 p.m. on your local network, WYLN TV 35.
Last night we told you we weren't sure if the Eagles wide receiver Deshaun Jackson would suit up Sunday against the Raiders. Well, today Philadelphia released their players' availabilities, and Jackson is listed as probable. Reports say he tweaked his ankle in practice a few days ago and had been participating lightly. One player definitely rolled out, starting quarterback Michael Vick. On the roster to start Sunday, backup Nick Foles, who is returning to the field after suffering a concussion. Last night the Dolphins won 22-20 over the Bengals after a walk-off safety. As tackle Jonathan Martin was not in the lineup for the Fins. He was ruled unavailable earlier in the week with a non-football illness, and reports say it's because of bullying. A source inside the organization said the incident happened in the Dolphins cafeteria when some of the 34-year-old Martin's teammates jokingly shunned him. This led him to leave the facility, but not before smashing his tray of food on the ground. When asked about the situation, a number of Martin's teammates spoke up, including Tyson Clabo, who said they all care for Martin and want him to come back to work. There's no word when and if the 34-year-old will return to the team. The Cincinnati Bengals' Geno Atkins will be out for the rest of the season of the NFL season with a torn ACL. It happened during that game last night in their loss to Miami Dolphins, and it happened in the second quarter. It's a tough loss for Cincinnati, as Atkins was their leading pass rusher, and he had 6 sacks on the season. His job should not be in jeopardy, though. Earlier this year, he signed a 5-year, $55 million contract with the Bengals. The Philadelphia Inquirer is reporting that the Philadelphia 76ers picked up third-year options on 2 of their players on the roster, guard Tony Rotten and forward Arnett Moultrie. The Sixers acquired Roten in a trade earlier this year and picked up his option for $1.2 million from Moultrie, who is out until at least January with an ankle injury. He'll make $1.13 million. Colorado Avalanche goalie Semyon Varlamov was arrested and released from jail yesterday after being accused of kidnapping and assaulting his girlfriend. The 25-year-old turned himself in on the accusations and then posted bail, which was set at $5,000. He is still allowed to travel with the Avs unless prosecutors decided to take the charges to court. Other conditions include Varlamov staying away from his girlfriend and not drinking alcohol or possessing firearms. This isn't the first time Varlamov has been in trouble with the law. He's been arrested for assault a few times before. This season in the net, he is 7-1 with a 1.76 goals against average. The Yankees announced earlier today that they re-signed shortstop Derek Jeter to a 1-year, $12 million contract. Jeter just completed his 3-year contract with the club that he signed in 2011. His option for 2014 was $9.5 million. The captain had a rough season last year. Coming back from a number of injuries, he only played in 17 games. Sources are saying the New York Mets are going to buy out the option on pitcher Johan Santana. ESPN is reporting the Mets will pay $5.5 million to the lefty instead of paying him the $25 million option for next season. The 2-time Cy Young winner had surgery on his left shoulder on April 2nd of this year and missed the season. The Mets did not rule out re-signing the 35-year-old Santana for a lesser amount, but they also didn't say that he was a high priority. Now we can check out tonight's national scoreboard. First up in the American Hockey League, the rival Hershey Bears took a trip of 81 to face off with the Penguins. The Pens win in overtime 3-2 on the ice in the NHL. The Caps shut out the Flyers. Yes, that is correct. 7-0. Penguins win 4-2 and Tampa Bay shuts out the Hurricanes. Islanders win in the shootout. The Blues shut out Florida. The Avs are up in the third period 2-1. Detroit and Calgary are tied at 2. In the NBA, Sixers are 2-0 after their 109-102 win tonight. Charlotte over Cleveland and the Magic over the Pelicans. Hawks are 102-95. Boston fell to the Bucks. Rockets lead the Mavs in the fourth. Memphis, they are up by 2 points at last look in overtime with the Pistons. T-Wolves win 181, and Brooklyn, they are leading the Heat right now. Portland 86-63 in the third. The Suns up in the second, and the Kings are trailing the Clips also in the second quarter. And the Spurs and the Lakers, that one is just tipping off in Los Angeles. Stick around, Joe's coming back after the break.
Award-winning children's recording artist Laurie Berkner will bring her music to Hazleton when the Laurie Berkner Band performs at the Wiltsey Center at the Historic Castle on Saturday, November 23rd at 2 p.m. Doors open at 12:30. Tickets may be purchased through wiltseycenter.org or at Ticketmaster retail outlets including select Boscov's and Walmart locations. The Laurie Berkner Band, November 23rd at the Wiltsey Center at the Historic Castle.
As a diabetic, where do I turn for the special healthcare products and advice I need?
Come into your nearby Good Neighbor Pharmacy. We specialize in the unique concerns and needs you have as a diabetic patient. Your Good Neighbor pharmacist has a fully trained staff, stocks a broad selection of the products you need, and takes a personal interest in your health and well-being.
What you sleep on can change your life. It affects how you feel, your relationships, how you perform. Let the folks at Grand Central custom fit the right sleeping surface just for you. Get free interest for 36 months, free delivery, free removal, free bed frame, plus a free furniture gift card on Sealy Posturepedic hybrids and Optimum bedding. Be custom fit. Get lots of freebies. Everybody shops Grand Central. Shouldn't you?
The Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home Incorporated at 542 North Wyoming Street in Hazleton, serving the greater Hazleton area since 1890 and still family owned and operated, offers convenient parking, handicapped accessibility, seating for over 150 people, casket, cremation product showrooms to accommodate traditional, cremation, and pre-planned funerals. The Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home Incorporated, 570-454-3341.
It's Octoberger, the sale's so big they named a month after it, at Berger, Cadillac, Buick, GMC in Hazleton.
Hi, Jim Kennedy, Berger Family Dealerships. Experience Buick with a 2014 Buick Verano, 24-month lease for only $219 a month, or the 2014 GMC Sierra, all new, lease it 36 months for only $339.
It's Octoberger at Berger, Cadillac, Buick, GMC, just off I-81, exit 145, Route 93 in Hazleton. Drive with experience.
WYLN, your first choice for locally produced shows like Chef Lou, Jen-tastic Sweets, Off the Beaten Path, The Storm, and more. Find out how you can stretch your advertising dollars and be a part of the WYLN TV lineup. Call 570-459-1869, extension 1302. WYLN, we're your local network.
Well, don't forget to set the clocks back 1 hour as we go into our Saturday and Sunday morning as a standard time resumes Sunday at exactly 2 o'clock in the morning. Live 35 Skycast Doppler. Really not much, nothing to show you across northeastern and central Pennsylvania. A little bit of some sprinkles and a light rain shower as you head toward the western part of the state. Still mild, 50 degrees, our live Lehigh tire conditions. Outside our station in Hazleton, rainfall since midnight hour, 0.6 of an inch of precipitation, and those winds continuing to be relatively light. 54 now, Wilkes-Barre Scranton International Airport, 53 degrees in Mount Pocono, 54 in Allentown, 60 degrees in Philadelphia, 50 in Williamsport, 45 in Selinsgrove, and 54 in State College. Up in the Wyoming Valley area, winds continuing to be relatively light. Temperature is pretty nice, 50s as I speak. Satellite and radar, you can see some increasing clouds as you head toward the northwestern part of the state, but the rest of us dealing with, well, clear to mostly clear skies. Skycast precipitation and clouds as we go through tomorrow. I may have to deal with a shower or two across our region. Not expecting a whole lot, but keep in mind there is the threat of it. Some locations may get through the day without seeing any precipitation. Still mild, not as mild as today though, but still pretty nice for this time of year. Extended forecast brought to you by the Wire Guys, a division of Arc Electric. Here's what we can expect over the next few days. We are going to be up into the 50s. Some locations will be near 60 heading into tomorrow, which is nice for this time of year. And then it gets much colder as we go into our Sunday. And as we go into next week, temperatures generally in the 40s. Then we bounce back up into the 50s to near 60 degrees by the middle part and ending part of next week, and see some of those overnight lows. It's going to get cold again, dropping down into the 20s. But hey, what we saw today can't get much nicer for beginning part of November.
No, I just talked to some of our sports crews just got back from Harmon Geist, and they said it was a beautiful evening for football.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't get better.
Friday night football. What about you?
I didn't even wear a jacket. It was great. I just had my sweater on, and I was good to go.
So you go from last Friday, where you're still thawing out about this time.
And the Friday before that was a little chilly too. Then the Friday before that, I was back in Tamaqua, and I was sweating. So, I don't know. I don't know what to expect for playoff football, so we'll see.
Well, you'll be prepared either way because you've had both happen, so she's good.
I feel like on the bright side.
Well, next week's going to be pretty busy here at WYLN. We have our election night coverage on Tuesday beginning at 8, runs till 10. Crazy night for all of us. I know we're all headed out to the polling places to bring you those numbers. We have a panel, Don Pachence, Dave Yonkai, Tiffany Cloud, and Jean Mope. They'll all be there preparing and getting ready to inform you on everything. So we will see you here on Monday, Topic A at 5:30, Late Edition at 10. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. We will see you then.